Well, started placing the reinforcements. Got my points down. Got some pretty big ones sitting here with 12 tribute points for Egypt, 11 wood. Got 5 and 4 down there for the Mitanni, 5 and 6 for the Kassites. So it's kind of a potential deal. Here's the thing: we're still working out that diplomatic situation. Are the Mitanni willing to work with the Egyptians and leave them alone, or is there some kind of deal they can make with the Babylonians? That deal with the Babylonians looks very hard just because of the geography. And the Hatti here have 8 tribute and 6 wood. So there might be an arrangement available between the Hatti and the Kassites. Or maybe not. It's hard to tell. Because you can always use tribute points. So trading a tribute point for a wood may not be a bad deal. Just because the Kassites would then have a tribute point they could slap down somewhere, either as a replacement in a garrison or something. But as it stands right now, they're getting nothing for that extra wood point. So that's kind of tempting. The question with the Mitanni and the Egyptians is another one open. But what I did notice was, damn, I forgot there was a successor sitting here, and I forgot about him sometime late in the turn, like after the second or third round, and just totally forgot. It's very easy to do that. They're not in a place where there's a lot of attention being drawn to. Yeah, I'm playing with the track every now and then. Maybe I'm playing with the general's holding boxes. But for the most part, this is just like a placemat of stuff. And I can mostly ignore it throughout the game. And it's not in a prominent enough position to remind you, oh yeah, it's your turn, you gotta roll for that. I found it actually easier on the chart maybe. It would be particularly easy where the rounds were, or I don't know what, but it's definitely not conducive to remembering that you've got to make that roll. And it's kind of an odd little mechanism that's one of the real standouts of this game compared to any other. I know it's not a lot, but compared to any other CDG, this is one of the things that really makes it a little different, is the way the leaders are coming in so quickly, at least your prime leaders. Okay, well, I got to think about that deal cutting. Well, it seems a new king ascended the throne for the Hittites this turn. Yeah. And he's a little better. They're looking at their cards and they say, okay, I'm going to stack up and again be in position to fight. But I want the cav here. Basically could have put not many, just 2 here. But there's not much use to using the chariots there because of the mountains. So he's kind of hoping it doesn't advance that way, that he can smash the main army and then slash across. If he loses the battle, though, this game could be over in an Egyptian victory because the Mitanni have refused to come to a deal with the Babylonians. And in fact, they took their wood, Judas's wood, for, I mean, yes, they're not thrilled with Egypt, but they think they can crush the Babylonians. And they don't think that if they allow the Babylonians out at this point, they'd be in good shape. Truth of the matter is the Babylonian king's up here and just has 2 divisions, nothing else. That's going to be fairly easy to beat. And then this is not particularly hard to beat either. They have no concentration of forces. 2 of their king and their warlord are up here. It really looks like a bad situation for the Babylonians that the Mitanni don't want to let them out of, and they don't think that it's not a guaranteed thing that Egypt's going to have a good shot at winning. It's not. I mean, the battle with the Hatti could very well go against the Egyptians. So, if that draws into a stalemate, it's kind of the situation the Egyptians took advantage of here with the Mitanni and the Babylonians fighting. And if it doesn't, if the Hatti are striking down and succeeding against Egypt, even if it's not just a balance, Hatti will probably have to keep going against the Egyptians rather than moving against the Mitanni, unless the Mitanni look like they're going to win. And at that point, well, then Egypt won't be in a position necessarily to fight them. And it's just okay, we're in this best position. One of the things to note that's kind of interesting is the points for the total points. 35, 32 for the Babylonians, not so great. 36, I spent these, for the Mitanni. Of course, only 24 over here for the Hatti. But everybody's kind of collecting about the same amount of points. Not every turn, but on the average, it looks like it's very likely that nobody's going to race ahead. There's the danger of the one-turn win, but it doesn't look like somebody's just generating points continuously. Anyway, just a neat little observation in terms of play balance that looks interesting. Well, let's start off the round with the strategy cards in the order selected. So I started the turn with the Babylonians playing a minor campaign and pulling their main forces down this way, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the other guys swung through this way, gathering up. So now they have a single coordinated force. And then the Egyptians played an attack moving into here, Lushna. This Hatti warlord tried to withdraw, and he failed. And I noticed something afterwards, once I started setting up the troops, that I hadn't noticed before. The Hatti troops or Hittites are 1 strength point stronger than everyone else. I'm curious if the Assyrians are also going to be better. But everyone else so far has been 3-4s. They're 4-4s for their infantry divisions, which is kind of cool. Cav charge didn't get taken off, or didn't succeed. So now, if I can grab one of these, and I've got these wooden tribute points kicking around up here for no reason. We can quickly calculate. They're at just 12. They would have rather been in the mountains where the where the chariots had even less effect maybe, but 9 to 8 is 17 for the Egyptians, which means the Egyptians have a slight advantage. We'll give the Egyptians the red die because they're attacking. And leadership-wise, I forgot, we're all at even, same amount of divisions, same leadership. So it stands still. We got a 3 for the Egyptians, which gives 10, and a 5 for the Hatti or Hittites, which does 11. Now, this is exactly what I was talking about. Even battles which were, overwhelmingly on one side or another had this chance of being complete blowouts. In fact, they tended to be. And you just don't feel that in the game. And it may be this attempt to prevent the game from getting too luck-based. It may be trying to cover things that don't fit the scale well. But it does certainly bother me. Anyway, what we're going to see here is basically a standoff, which barely ever happened. Usually these battles, one side broke or the other did. Anyway, let's see. The Hittites are going to take 10. Well, they'll take each of their divisions once. And we get 11. Which looks like it's going to be the 2 infantry and the 2 cav. And it looks to me like the Egyptians have to retreat. There's only 5 units on their side. I think that means that there's no victory point. Alright, I'll come back. Well, here's an interesting card that seems to indicate it doesn't fit the rules. Play after a battle that ended in a draw. You're now the winner of this battle. Great! Except there is no draws. Player who caused the highest loss number wins the battle. If tied, the defender wins. What? Okay, great. I'm going to go look in the errata, see if that's covered, but that's pretty annoying. Well, the Egyptians got caught down here by the Hittites, or Hatti, slicing down to where their huge chariot advantage should be really an advantage. They got the charge off, and did significant damages. But then, even though they'd used demonic invocations, the leadership, because of the 2 divisions versus 1, was greater on the Egyptian. Both sides went in with a -1, and the die rolls went badly against the Hatti. Well, they played Armageddon, which allows them to continue the fight. Now, I'm guessing that this means that the winner of the second fight wins the battle. Again, maybe it's in the card book somewhere. Hey, maybe the playbook has the answer of that God King enters the fray, because I'll tell you this, the online resource does not talk about it. I don't feel like I need to read these things. Usually there are clarifications when needed, but in this case, this is, well, oh, wow. So, card 07, maybe that's not what it is, I can't read the number, is not this one at all. Well, maybe I got some other game here. Or maybe that's like not an English numbering. It's supposed to be 107. No? Okay, so I can't even find the card? I'm going to have to scan through here and look for the card, because it's not the... Oh, that's supposed to be an 8? Jesus, my eyes must be bad. Does that look like an 8 to anybody? Wow. My eyes must be going pretty bad. That looks like a 0 to me. Alright. Yeah, no, it says the same thing that does. And I don't like that I'd have to look here, but all the corrections are to the book. Nothing's corrected on the cards. The cards say the same damn thing, but it doesn't say, oh yeah, fix your card. And how are you supposed to fix your cards, you know, with a card-driven game? You can't really tape something on them. That'll make them shuffle differently. It's just kind of disturbing there is... I mean, I guess you just have to remember. You can mark them up with a scripto or something. I don't know. Anyway, you'd hope that a significant amount of quality control went in before they actually printed the cards, etc. It usually seems to with the GMT ones. Most of their cards don't seem to be in... I haven't had a problem with many of their cards. And, where they are, they tend to correct it pretty quickly. This one just doesn't seem to even make sense. Alright, so I'll do another round of battle, which this one seems to do, and just assume that's a 1-point boned card, because it doesn't make any sense in the rules. Alright. Well, this time, even though there wasn't a successful chariot charge for either side, and both sides tried, it was just a straight-up numbers battle. The -1 on there, they rolled the same, essentially. The Assyrians got a 15 damage to the Egyptians. The Egyptians did only 14 to the Assyrians. Now here's the question. Who gets points? Clearly the Hatti get their victory point because they won the second battle. But the Egyptians won a battle too. And I think they get one as well. Again, not clarified in the rules. I don't view things like this as that big a deal. I know some people are disturbed by them. But to me, a little dispute of that nature can easily be resolved, and I'd rather the rules not handle it, and I don't believe they do here. Cards talking about things that are impossible, that bugs me. Alright. So let's go on to, I guess, the second round, and these are taking a long time, longer than I hoped. I wanted to fly through them quickly, start moving through this game a little more rapidly, but, well, we'll load this up and see what happens.